ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Varsity Live. This time we have the post-game show. I'm your host, Mason Byers. I'm a student at Walter Cronkite, Arizona State University, and we're going to be recapping some games that happened in Arizona and a game in Las Vegas. All the way in the Valley, we have Phoenix games and some Southern games down there in Tucson with our lovely correspondents down there. Great night for football, and we're going to talk to some of our field correspondents that were out at the games, and they're going to give us a little recap of what they saw and some takeaways they had from the game. And first things up, we're going to have Alexandra Medina. She was at Dobson High School, so we're going to talk to her and see what happened there at Dobson. Hey, Alex, how are you?
Hi, Mason. I'm doing good. Are you able to see me?
It's a little dark, but we've had some technical difficulties tonight, so we're going to make it work.
Okay, awesome. Yeah, so um I just covered Dobson and Westwood High. It was a great game today. It ended 48-14. So not the outcome that Dobson wanted, but there was a few injuries that took place that they had to work around. So Noah Ahmed came in for the starting quarterback, which was Montemayor. So he came in and he was able to kind of lead his team. Past some difficulties, in the second half of the game. They outscored Westwood 14-0. So that was pretty good on their part. And then Javian Alston, he started the game with 460 yards. He added to his stats during the game, but Westwood's defense was pretty tough to move past.
Yeah, during the pregame, it was definitely mentioned that Dobson was going to establish that run game. So was Javion your guys' player of the game tonight for Dobson?
No, Javian was actually not the player of the game. We chose Noah Ahmed. He had a few bobbles on the snap that he was able to work past, and he did a great job just leading his team coming in. His position, he's a running back, so he is not a quarterback, but he was able to kind of lead his team tonight. So, player of the game, Noah Ahmed, and next Dobson will be taking on Campo Verde. And the head coach of Dobson, Bill Godsill, he was very optimistic heading into tonight's game and very optimistic heading into Campo Verde for next week. Just kind of looking for a win after the tough loss.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much, Alex. You did a great job there at Dobson tonight, and thank you so much for taking the time to be on the show tonight.
Thanks, Mason.
Awesome. Have a good night.
You too.
Awesome. You heard it there from Alexandra Medina. Dobson been facing a lot of injuries. They've had a wide receiver and a running back mentioned in the pregame show that they've had to run at quarterback because they've just dealt with a lot of injuries. So it's always nice, though, that teams come in here and they fight and they show that, like, even though if they are dealing with injuries, they're not going to give up. So definitely great work out there by our team in Dobson. So now we are going to go turn it to Nicholas Furman. Nick Furman was out at Brophy. Brophy, one of the top 6A teams, trying to fight for a open division spot. So let's see what happened there out at Brophy. Hey, Nick,
What's up,
how are
Mason?
you?
Good, how are you?
Good. How did that Brophy game go tonight?
Brophy absolutely obliterated Notre Dame Prep tonight, 40-0. The defense for Brophy played. They allowed Notre Dame Prep to cross midfield once and get into the red zone once, and Brophy's offense was firing on all cylinders. Vandenbosch had a great game. Sharper had a great game. Fitzgerald had a great game. Both two running backs had a great game. The one thing I'm a little bummed about is that Notre Dame Prep's receiver, Cooper Perry, the Oregon commit, wasn't there, and I thought it would be him and Cree Thomas, the Notre Dame commit, the corner. I thought that was going to be the matchup tonight, but unfortunately we weren't able to watch it. I don't think Cooper Perry was going to make that big of a difference because Brophy came to play.
Yeah, they're definitely a team to look out for in that 6A division. Who's your guys' player of the game out there at Brophy tonight?
I'd give it to the entire defense. Honestly, if I have to give it to a player, I give it to Vanden Bosch, the quarterback, or to Devin Fitzgerald. They both played great.
Yeah, definitely. If you allow a shutout, I feel like you deserve the whole defense deserves praise there.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for joining us tonight, and great work out there at Brophy.
Thank you.
Have a good night, Nick.
You too.
Awesome. You heard it there from our Nick Furman. Brophy continuing to be dominant this season. Last season, they fell a little bit short of their aspirations in terms of winning a state championship, but they always have a really good coach team, lots of great players, lots of good development over there. So definitely a team that's always really good, and they're probably trying to bid for an open division spot. They probably have their sights a little bit bigger than 6A at the moment, just considering how dominant they've been. Now we're going to switch gears a little bit. We're going to go to the 5A conference. We had the Horizon Huskies game versus Millennium. So our correspondent, Layla Ruderman, is going to be joining us and telling us how that game went.
Hi, Mason. Hey, thank you. We had a great game out in Scottsdale tonight. Horizon won 38-8 over Millennium. So definitely came out with a big win. It was their homecoming night. So big crowd. They had fireworks, their homecoming court. It was a really fun environment. To kick things off, they got the ball and they immediately dominated. Millennium was not able to find a first down. And then they really just struggled to get going on offense. And Horizon was just quick with their defense tonight. They had playmakers all across the field. They had an interception early in the first quarter, and Millennium's quarterback, Donovan DeLong, was pulled out immediately after the interception. Didn't look like an injury, so we thought maybe something just kind of getting back under control, and he was replaced with Raiden Rebel for quarterback, and Raiden was really unable to just get this offense going once again. So going into halftime, Horizon was up, I believe, 21-0, so already a 3-possession lead, and then coming out of halftime, Millennium really just struggled to find their pace once more. And it was kind of weird. They were coming off of a win from last week, which was a comeback week. However, they did have some issues with their facility. They had to practice somewhere else. The kids have been out of school this week because of construction that was going on. So their head coach kind of just said it's been a chaotic week for them all around. So I can imagine that played some role in it. But overall, Horizon had a great game with their quarterback, Jace Ashley. Player of the game tonight was Johnny Issett. It actually was really cool. He was a backup. Tonight was his first time ever starting. He was a junior, and he had 3 touchdowns. He really made a name for himself. I wouldn't have known he was a backup unless my play-by-play person didn't tell me that. So yeah, it was a great game. Horizon definitely came out with a big win, but it was a fun game to cover tonight.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much, Layla. It sounds like you guys had a fun time out there in Scottsdale, and great job covering that game out there for Horizon.
Yeah, thanks. Have a good night.
You too. Awesome. You heard it from Layla. Horizon continuing to be dominant. Obviously, having 1 loss on the season to Pinnacle, a 3-point loss, probably game of the year candidate so far in Arizona. I mean, that game came down to the absolute wire, and you heard it from her. Johnny Issett, the backup running back, scored 3 touchdowns, player of the game. Something about the Horizon Huskies you have to remember is they're always going to run the football, and they're going to do a pretty good job at doing that. Whether it's Bodie Zamorano, Johnny Issett, those 2 running backs, that 2-headed monster they have back there, or Jace Ashley, who's a great dual threat quarterback, they're going to always get it done. So great job by Horizon, getting another dominant win there in Scottsdale, Arizona. And now we're going to go to the Saguaro game where they played Corona del Sol. So Olivia Prickett was out there tonight, and she's going to give us a little recap of what happened out there, and I'm excited to hear, because I saw it was close.
Hey Mason, I'm still at the Saguaro versus Corona del Sol game. Actually, the game just ended, and Saguaro has walking away with a 35-28 win. It was a battle. Saguaro scored 2 touchdowns in the second quarter after Corona del Sol scored their first touchdown in the first quarter. So it was just neck and neck the whole entire night. We actually have 50 seconds left, but it looks like Corona del Sol just scored a touchdown. So Like I said, we are neck and neck, and we're still out here. I'm about to go out and interview some players. Our player of the game is number 7, the junior quarterback, Marcel Jones. He has just had an amazing performance tonight. He's really connected with Aiden Whitaker and Jaden Wiseman. They've just been putting dimes into the end zone. And Marcel Jones ran the ball into the end zone, and it was just amazing. The energy here, it's homecoming night tonight, so the energy here, you can imagine, is just amazing. So it's been a great game so far. I'm really actually curious to see how the end of this game is going to go, given that it is 35-34 with 16 seconds left in the game. So stay tuned to Varsity Sports on Twitter. I'll be live updating. And yeah, that's what I got.
Awesome. Thanks, Olivia. I'll let you get back to it since there's a lot going on over there.
Thank you. Have a good rest of your night.
Thank you. Awesome. I'm going to do my best job to check Twitter as occasionally as possible, because I was watching that game a little bit before I got to the studio here tonight. And Marcel Jones, like she said, junior quarterback, actually a transfer from last year. This is his first game he's eligible. Looks like he got the nod tonight, and Saguaro looks like they're about ready to get their first win of the season. And Olivia was right. I mean, I could hear the fans in the background cheering on. It's so awesome, especially for homecoming night. Yeah, so we're definitely going to be. I'll definitely be keeping an eye on that for y'all. Unbelievable that game's still going on. Probably a great game, obviously. I'm kind of in shock right now, considering how close that game is, and how Corona del Sol to score a touchdown, and how well Saguaro's been doing tonight. But we're going to take it to a quick commercial break, and then when we are back, we were going to talk to our Nicholas Anderson, who is out at Las Vegas.
Hi everyone, my name is Kiana Watchman from the University of Arizona, reporting for the Varsity Sports Show.
Looking into Montana Western season, they're currently sitting at the top of the Frontier Conference as defending Frontier Conference champs. The biggest game of the season so far for the Bulldogs was against number 3 ranked College of Idaho. This upset was credited to quarterback Michael Palandri with a career high of 416 passing yards against the Yotes. Montana Western has racked up 2 conference wins against College of Idaho, as well as Eastern Oregon University. A confidence boost with a win against D3 Lewis and Clark College has also prepared Montana Western as they take on ranked number 14th Southern Oregon University. Looking towards the southeast, Bethel has taken on 2 out-of-conference opponents, showing their dominant power with their 49-3 win over University of Northwestern Minnesota and a 51-30 win over University of Wisconsin-Eau Claire. Bethel begins season play September 28th against St. John's University. Wide receiver Joey Kidder broke records of his own, including being named the Royals' all-time touchdown reception leader with 31, and he also tied the single-game record with 4 touchdown receptions. Each team is climbing the ladder within the conference and the NAIA and are receiving deserving national recognition. That's it from Kiana Watchman. Please follow my ex at KWatchmanNews, and I hope y'all have a great day.
Awesome. Thank y'all for watching that commercial. And like I promised, we have Nicholas Anderson, one of the Varsity Sports Show finest, out in Las Vegas, and he's going to give us a little recap of the game that he covered out there. Hey, Nick, how are you?
Doing great, Mason. How you doing?
Doing good. What happened out there tonight with the St. Lutheran game?
Yeah, so we're seeing an underdog story being built right under our feet here, Mason. They move up to 6-0 on the season. This is their best start in program history. This is their best start under head coach Mike Sanford. And to Mike Sanford's credit, he started 5-0 2 years ago. So this is a coach that comes from deep roots from coaching at schools like UNLV, Indiana State, USC, Notre Dame. He coached in that 2004 Utah team where Alex Smith went number 1 overall in next year's draft. So this is a legitimate coach, and this is a legitimate team. You have a 6'2" quarterback in Alexander Rogers who was slinging the ball tonight. He had 3 touchdowns and had an interception late in the fourth quarter, but the game was over. They had won 34-13 in shocking fashion. They had scored 21 points in the first quarter alone. So this game was over in the first quarter, and they just completely annihilated Sierra Vista on the ground. They just couldn't contain the 3-star athlete and Cale Breslin. And overall, I mean, give credit to Sierra Vista. They had runners like Adonis Vaughn, who I've spoke on previously, and Christian Lee, who are really good tonight, and give credit to Charles Budera for scrambling out of the pocket tonight for Sierra Vista and providing leverage for them throughout the whole night and give them a shot throughout the whole game.
Awesome. Yeah. I like what you said, underdog story, best start under that coach's history. And then who was your guys' player of the game? Was it Alex Rogers?
Yes, we gave it to Alexander Rogers. Just tough kid. He said in the post-game interview that, yeah, actually, I'll give it to the pregame interview that I did with their head coach, Mike Sanford. He claims that this kid, Alex Rogers, is the leader of the team. He's the voice of the locker room. He leads his troops out, and his teammates listen to him. They instill that trust into him to go out there and lead the team to victory, and he does just that. And Alex credited to a bunch of his teammates. He credited to guys like Cale Breslin, who gives him that confidence every single night to go out there and win the games, along with receivers in, let me get it there, Abraham Harris and Cole Keith, who was a defensive back. So all these guys give Rogers the confidence to go out there and go lead them to win these ball games, and it shows out tonight. And that's why they're 6-0.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much, Nick. Always doing a great job out there in Las Vegas. So thank you so much for taking the time to be on the show.
Appreciate it, Mason. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, have a great rest of your night. Awesome. Love stories like that. Always like to see when a coach has finally maybe turned a program that kind of started from maybe not that much and turn it into a team that is probably going to be a pretty good playoff team. I mean, 6-0, winning in dominant fashion too, with a couple of D1 guys on the team with a leader at the quarterback position. I mean, you're guaranteed to have a really good team and it's really well coached. So great job by Nicholas Anderson. And we're going to switch gears back to Arizona now. We had the Mountain View game. Roman Martinez was actually out there, and he's going to give us a little recap of what happened for the Toros. Hey, Roman, how are you?
Good. How about yourself, Mason?
Doing good. What happened out at Mountain View tonight?
Yeah, I mean, it was an incredible game for the Toros. Just an absolute blowout and shutout. They won the game over Desert Ridge by a total score of 54-0 on the road.
Geez, I mean, I feel like they're always just playing really well. I mean, who was your guys' player of the game who kind of stood out tonight in that dominant win?
Yeah, absolutely. Player of the game was Reese Bodley, who is actually the backup running back for this Toros offense. Their starting running back, Beckham Barney, was out last game and obviously out again this week with a knee injury. So for him to step up for his team, I mean, I'm excited to see what the stat sheet looks like. He had over triple digits on the ground, basically carrying this offense on his back early in that first half and really get them out to a strong lead.
Awesome. Yeah, it's always nice to see when the backups' names called that they shine in the role. And thank you so much, Roman, for covering that game and taking your time to be on the show tonight.
Yeah, absolutely. Have a good one, Mason.
You too, Roman. Awesome. I love that story there. That's the second time I've heard tonight that a backup running back has stepped up and played their role. And when their name is called, they're ready to play. I mean, two programs in Horizon and Mountain View who, no matter who's on the field, they're going to get the best out of their players. And that's attributed to a great culture, a great coaching staff, and just great overall personnel on the team. And it's always nice to see, next man up mentality, because sometimes, I mean, I can just think in the NFL when a certain quarterback might go down and the whole team falls apart. But it's really nice to see when a certain kid's name's called and they step up and they show that they can be just as good as a starter too. And great job by the Toros, a 54-0 win. Just keeps showing why these teams are as good as they are, because they build their programs off great culture and great character. We're going to go to another quick commercial break, and then we'll be back with a couple more recaps for y'all.
This is Beckett Parker List from Temple University with Varsity Sports. I am once again joined by quarterback Blake Ashudo and DN Meepom Jumper from Southern Oregon. Last time they were on the show, they were 2-0, preparing for the biggest game so far this season against 9th-ranked College of Idaho. They are now 3-0 and the 14th ranked team in the nation. Blake, can you tell me what message you guys are sending this year to the conference and to the nation?
I mean, I think the message is that we can just really play with anybody. We beat the same team last year. They kind of brought back the same team. They were number 5, I think, when we beat them. But now we showed that we can win consistently, and we beat them this year. And jumping up in the rankings is good. And now we have a big matchup this week.
Meepom, you guys are now 3-0. You guys are the 14th ranked team in the nation. How are you guys dealing with these wins? Do you guys feel the pressure?
Yeah, I mean, we think of pressure as a privilege, so we just go day in and day out with a smile on our face, and we just kind of chip away the grindstone every single day. Just practice makes perfect, and then we go out on Saturday and we go win.
All right, awesome. Thank you guys for coming on. Are there any last words for the fans?
I would just say come out to the game again. NAIA football is really slept on. I think it's really good football. We're not just looking for the NIL deals and stuff. It's actual real guys that just love football. So I think it's a really good show.
Small college football is the best football. It's people who love that game so much, and man, we got a great matchup coming up on Saturday at 1 o'clock at Raider Stadium.
This was Beckett Parker List from Temple University with Varsity Sports.
Awesome. Thank you all for watching that commercial. So we actually have our last recap of the night, and it's going to be in Southern Arizona. One of the games I was looking forward to the most, two top-rated teams in Marana and Canyon de Oro, and Raimundo Chavez was out there tonight. So we're going to go listen to him and see what happened out there in Southern Arizona.
How you doing, Mason?
Good. How about you?
Doing pretty good, man. Sorry if my audio isn't working. I'm still kind of leaving the game. My AirPods weren't charged, so sorry about that.
They're all good. All good. What happened out there?
Yeah, it was a really good game. Both crowds showed up. To be honest, like, it was awesome. The score didn't. I don't think it really reflected like how the game went. It ended 48-0. But that first half was really close, and it was really kind of just a game of two philosophies, if you get what I mean. Like, Marana's kind of more high flying, like West Coast, like short screens, short passes, giving the receivers a chance to run after the catch. Whereas CDO kind of played like a real hard nosed kind of style of defense and like running the ball. One of the big things I think that I noticed like during the first, because it was really only competitive in that first half. CDO started the game on defense, and they got an interception on Marana. So that I thought the game was going to swing off that. They weren't able to capitalize off it. But yeah, and then Marana, Coach Philip Stewart, kind of pulled out a little bit of a Sean Payton with a surprise onside kick. You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
And he did it this is still like to end the first half, and then he did it again in the second half. So
Oh, no.
it was a real it was a crazy game, a lot of unexpected like plays. But yeah, that I don't think the score. I mean, 49-0. It's hard to say that the score doesn't reflect how the game went. It was a tough offensive day for CDO, but I think Marana, like they also like showed some weaknesses. Like yards going against them, and yeah, I think it was close, but yeah, Marana was able to come out on top.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for your great work out there in Southern Arizona, and we appreciate all the stuff you do out there, and get home and have a great night, okay?
Hey, thanks. You too, Mason. Have a great rest of your show, man.
Thank you. Awesome. So that was Raimundo Chavez out there at Southern Arizona covering the Marana and Canyon del Oro game. Obviously, Canyon del Oro not getting what they wanted out of it, but it's always a learning experience. We're only halfway through the season, so still a lot of football to be played for every team that we mentioned here. And I just want to thank everyone for tuning in. I see we have 50 concurrent viewers right now, so I just want to take the time to thank y'all so much for tuning in and listening to all of our amazing correspondents out around Arizona and Las Vegas. And thank you so much for sticking with me through the pregame, national, and postgame show. Once again, I'm Mason Byers. I'm a student at Arizona State University, Walter Cronkite School of Journalism and Mass Communications. And I hope you all have a great rest of your night. And make sure to also check out the AM 1060 KDUS radio show where me and Vince Delicio are going to be doing another little post-game wrap-up. So make sure to tune into that and to catch more of the action. And with that, I will see you guys next time.